Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Leading Our Runway here on YouTube. We also are on Spotify and Apple for anyone that's joined us. I'm Andrew White, and this week's story struck a deeply personal chord with me. Ashley Hillstead's journey through workplace trauma mirrors my own in ways that remind us how universal these experiences can be. If you've been affected by workplace bullying or know anybody, this episode is definitely for you. In this first part, here on YouTube, we explore the complex layers of childhood trauma as Ashley opens up about growing up with an alcoholic father and how these early experiences shaped her response to future challenges. Her story begins in California, but it's in the high-pressure fashion world of Manhattan where everything would change. Stay with us as we uncover how our past shapes our present and how sometimes the hardest conversations become our greatest teachers. She's amazing. All the way from LA. Thank you for joining me, Ashley. Here's part one on YouTube. And we're here all week, by the way. Monday to Friday, 5 parts. Go and subscribe to the channel. Always helps us out. Here's Ashley after the small trailer. 21 seconds. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way. I'm your host, Andrew White, and this is the podcast that unveils captivating narratives of resilience and personal triumph. This podcast is for anyone seeking inspiration and insights on overcoming life's challenges. Follow and subscribe, and then we can lead together forever. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to Ashley Hillstead. How are you, Ashley?
I'm good. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. I'm great. Well, it's good morning to me, but we're filming all the way from Los Angeles.
Yes. So it's an afternoon.
Yes.
Time for us here.
Yeah, perfect. It's always perfect timing here in Australia to film people with people in America at this time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To everybody, if everyone's watching, you might see a fly fly in front of me. We've just been having a laugh for the last 20 minutes about a fly going, it's killing me. But anyway. Ashley, thank you for joining me on Leading Our Own Way. Thanks for joining me on my journey. I really appreciate it. This is special to me because your journey, even though it's separate, it's close to me in the sense of the topic and what we'll go through. If you could put your journey into a few words without going into depth just yet, what words would you choose, do you think?
I would say betrayal comes to mind.
Okay.
That was a big part of my journey. It was betrayal, feeling powerless, feeling lost, disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the positive end of things, like it all makes so much sense. So even though those are kind of more negative words, I would say they played a huge part in my purpose now and where I'm at. So I wouldn't take any of that back, and I don't regret any of those feelings. So, yeah.
Yeah. Great words to choose because every word you chose then, I connected deeply on it. Ashley and I share a journey of workplace bullying, and it's a very deep topic for us both, isn't it? And has it been a huge impact on you like it has me?
Oh, absolutely. I think that was like the catalyst of why I am where I am, and me searching for more answers and me going on my healing journey and doing all of that, because actually another word that comes to mind is rejection. So it really triggered on a lot of those wounds that I had that maybe I didn't realize at the time. But it really poked at that, and it was either like a sink or swim. So here I am. I chose to swim. But yeah, it was really, really hurtful, and it took me some time to kind of overcome it and process it and heal in the way that I needed to. But I'm in a really good space now, and I'm happy to have experienced it.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you're on the other side. It's interesting. You've just used a word choice. You chose to swim, not sink, but swim.
Yeah.
And that word choice is a key to this podcast. I think that's the message I kind of want to get across to anyone that might be going through, a poor brain health day. Or it's weird. It's not that I don't like to call it mental health. We call it mental health, but mental for me implies that there's something wrong with us. But just because we're sad, down, or going through a dark stage doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us. It just means we're sad, or our brain needs something to recalibrate and come round, right? So it's about for me, it's about brain health and in human physiology of what's missing from the body to help us be stronger in those weaker moments, right? Doesn't mean we still won't get hurt or get down, but I think we'll be better prepared for it. Do you think the Ashley before the bullying, because we will get into the journey, we will get into the nitty gritty stuff, but do you think the Ashley before the bullying is a completely different version to the Ashley that we're talking to today?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Like I think it really made me dig deep into certain traits of myself that maybe I had
Mm.
forgotten how resilient I am, forgotten how powerful I am, forgotten just how capable I am. You know, you get lost in the sauce and you get lost in those moments, and you feel like everything has kind of been almost like the carpet has been pulled out from under you, and again, you just feel lost and like you've lost part of yourself, and you to a point where like, who am I? And then you almost have to kind of rebuild that or refind that or remember who you are. So
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, I should probably rephrase that question. Is is it a new Ashley, or is the revisits of the old Ashley before it went wrong?
yeah, no, that's a great question. I think it's me to the core. So it's just maybe almost even like a rebirth.
Yeah.
It's been me all along, but I think that that time in the bullying and that moment of my life, maybe I was so far removed from who I really am and who I yeah, who Ashley is. So maybe it was that time where I was like, wow, I kind of really lost myself, not even realizing it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I didn't know why when I was throwing up. I just thought I was ill. I didn't know it was the body
Mhm.
speaking to me because I couldn't fly anywhere or fight anywhere. It was just I was in this fight and flight mode, and the body wanted to escape, but I couldn't escape from the tiger in the jungle because there's no jungle because I'm in these buildings, at work. It's interesting, isn't it, to think of that. I do think the old, and I like to say the old Andy White's back, but more improved, if you know what I mean, with
Absolutely, yes.
more knowledge, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, side note though, I want people to really stick around to this because you are the only person I've ever spoken to that has a unique, I'm going to use the word unique, and it'll become clear later on, unique ending to this story.
Hmm.
And I'm going to keep it there for that. And another side note, our connection, Ashley, people sometimes wonder, how do you get these guests from America and stuff like that? And randomly, some people just come through to me, but you're not random. We have a connection through a good friend, a former guest of Leading Our Own Way. I think it was episode 6 or 8 or something like that. I forget the numbers now because I've done so many since. But Mr. Paul Elderkin.
Yes. Yes, he's a huge part of my journey too. We actually met when I got deep into my healing work. So after I got let go of the job, through that whole bullying situation, and I'm sure we'll have more of a conversation on that.
Mhm.
But I finally had a moment to myself and a moment to travel to Bali because, as you know, from America, it's quite a long distance. So you don't want to just go for a few days and you need the time. And I never had the time in corporate America. They
Mhm.
give you 2 weeks and that's about it, and maybe a week of sick time. And I was using that all for my family for holidays and such. So when I got let go, I again saw the positive side of things. I have the time to travel, and there was just something in my mind, something in my head that said, go to Bali. I don't know what you need to see there, but healing comes to mind, trauma, childhood work, all that. I'm like, what? I don't have trauma. I don't know about this, but
Mm.
still leaned into that. And I met Paul too. So we were in the same program, an inner child and trauma work program. So that's how we met.
It is when you said there's no trauma. Did you, through the programs that you did in Bali and the type of healing you were going through, did when you said you leaned into it, did you then find out there was trauma that you didn't know existed?
Yes, absolutely. And I found out just like more of the definition of trauma because I think that it is a taboo topic or can be a taboo topic of, you think it has to only be abuse or something that was extremely tragic. And I'm not saying that one is more tragic than the other because it's all how you really experience it, right? You
Hmm.
can't level that on a scale. Um, but going back, like I just would think, well, I had a great childhood. Like I had a great upbringing. There's nothing that I can complain about, really, right? So that was my whole thing is like, yeah, I don't have trauma. But when you learn it's trauma is a bigger wide range of things. It's what happened or didn't happen or something that, wasn't given to you or you're missing that you required and you needed as a child. So after learning that, that's kind of how it unwound and I started learning more and I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I needed to be loved in this way. And so yeah, it's really empowering and it's I think everyone should, have some sort of healing and figure that out for themselves of like how they're meant to be loved.
We'll swing back to that because I think that's a good point, starting point for the beginning of your journey. But coming back to Paul,
Mm-hmm.
and you just said it then, me and Paul, and I've shared it on many, many other episodes, and I'll share it again because I think people should go back and listen to the Paul Elderkin episode too because his journey is incredible and what he's doing now is incredible too. Oh, and he's coming back to Australia too. I'm so happy because we
Yeah.
get to hang out. We get to hang out. This is March. We're filming in March, but this probably won't be out till May, June. But he's coming. He's going to be coming back, so I'm so excited that we're going to connect, and he's going to help me with a few things as well. But Paul, and you just said it about experiencing trauma. I sat at his house. We had a few drinks and caught up because we found out we met through the game of basketball, and he ended up living 5 minutes away. And I was at his place, and I just rambled on about, like I do, rambled on about my journey of what happened to me 10 years ago in the workplace, and he just sat and listened. He has a wealth of knowledge. He didn't try to give me advice or anything like that because he knew I was way past that. But I was just venting. I was just releasing, the typical Andy White undesired emotions and just venting about my journey. And he just heard me, just listened. And then I don't know if it was that night or another week or so had passed. I think I shared my journey on the phone actually, and then we touched on it. And then he went into his, and I was in complete shock. And it's on the episode. People can go back to listen to his journey on the episode. There's no secret behind it. He's very open in that regard. And I sat in myself and in a bit of being honest, brutally honest with myself, I was a little bit embarrassed because his journey, I thought to myself, what you've been through, I feel like I could probably walk my problem again with ease. And he said some beautiful words to me. We had a bit of a cry. We had a bit of a tear. I did on that episode. And every time I think about it, my hair stand up and everything. But he said to me some powerful words. And he said, Andy, there's no ranking on trauma. And that just sticks with me every time. And I say that to everybody when I'm giving advice. I think if we could give a one-liner to everybody, that for me is the line. And that was powerful stuff.
Yes, yes, that's huge. And I think more people need to know that and understand that so they can allow themselves to feel what they need to feel. Because I think there's a lot of shame and guilt around that world of like, oh, this person had it worse than me, or,
Yeah.
I should be thinking of others. But
Mm.
you do have to give to yourself first, like that, and you need to do the healing for yourself. So again, there's no ranking.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
it. That's it.
a feeling and unexpressed, and that's how it can get stuck in the body. And like you said, you were sick,
Mm.
like physically sick, physically ill. I mean, I experienced that too. In my skin's usually very nice, and I never really had those teenage years where I would have a lot of acne or anything like that. But
Hmm.
during like the peak end of my time in corporate America, when I knew I needed to leave, my skin was so inflamed.
Yeah.
It was horrifying. I was like, what is going on?
Mm.
It was the job.
And that's going down to the cellular level, isn't it? You know, when you're in that fight and flight and your cells begin to inflame, and then it becomes it's way past acute. It's way past any healthy stress on the body. It is becoming chronic, and your cells have worked overtime, and they're trying to speak to you. The body's trying to speak to you. And if it goes past that cellular level, those inflamed cells then go and attack the organs, and that's when the organs begin to fail. And that's really where I changed my life. I nearly died from a gallbladder infection, and sepsis had set in, and I was 30 minutes away from being in a coma in ICU. You know,
Yeah.
and that's when I started to change. But I want the podcast to make people realize we can make the changes before it gets anywhere near that. I don't want people to go down that road. But back to you, leading our own way. It's called this for a reason. Ashley, how are you leading your own way now then?
So now I actually hold space for others. So I've gotten into trauma-informed energy work and somatic therapy. Hi, Fly.
It's back again.
Yeah, so it's now my time to like give back to others what has really been super helpful in my own journey. So that's where I find joy and purpose in my own story and life.
I'm going to hold a picture up. Talk us through some of these things you do, because I'm not an expert in everything, but I love learning, and that's why this is like my own little diary, a huge diary. Talk to us a little bit about what you're doing here in this picture here.
Yes. Okay. So this is Kundalini activation. Kundalini is our life force energy. Okay. So there's many ways it can be activated. You may have heard of Kundalini yoga and Kundalini breath work, but here this is a form of energy work.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I do energy work and body work. So there is acupressure and there is touch. So maybe not in this picture, you'll see touch, but essentially I am raising a frequency, a high frequency, and I'm helping guide anything that is not in high frequency. So anything in low frequency in the body is asked to be released or leave. So any low frequencies such as like grief or sadness or anger or self-sabotage, any of those lower frequencies are asked to leave. So anything that's kind of stuck in the body, and we kind of spoke a little bit about blockages and how that can lay in the body from unresolved trauma or a trauma cycle that has not been completed from childhood or even years ago, something that hasn't been expressed. It needs to rise and be expressed in a healthy way. So when you're in a session like this, here I am doing energy work already, right?
Yeah, no, great, do it. Yeah, that's fine by me.
Here you are. Here you go, Andy.
Give it to me. This is free.
Yeah, exactly. So when you are in a session, you experience your own energy, and it's basically you having the time and space to speak with your body. So regulating your nervous system, finding safety in the body again, because what happens is we become disconnected from our body throughout time, right? And sometimes we just don't even realize it, right? And that's why we're always in a fight or flight or always super stressed or anxious, right? Because we're just running on that hamster wheel. So when you find safety in the body and you're able to regulate the nervous system, that's when you allow all of that to come up and be released. So it can be a little intense because you're feeling maybe some emotions that haven't been processed, and it can be overwhelming. Like sadness and grief come up and you're like, well, what's the story to that? Your mind wants to know a story, but there does not in fact need to be a story. The body just needs to express it and go on its merry way and and just heal the body. So again, I'm creating this space for you to connect with your body in that language and allow whatever needs to come up and be processed and heal in a healthy way. So, yeah.
Sorry, no, go ahead. Is it a way of trying to take the emotion? I know there's a story, but is it about a way of trying to take the emotion out of the memory, so we're turning that trauma? I suppose we don't want trauma to be traumatic anymore, do we? So is it about taking the emotion out of the memory, so it's more looking at turning towards wisdom maybe, and using it as a way of moving forward. Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.